All right, family, it's Tasha, Mama Bear Prepping. Let's get into it. I missed you guys. I wasn't able to come yesterday. We had tons of work to do. My sister was moving, and we had a lot of stuff that had to be done. Puppy needed to be vaccinated. There was just all types of stuff that we had to get done. Okay, so we're wrapping up the school year. It's just a lot, okay? So what I wanted to do yesterday, okay, was this video, which is a video in response to my girl Cynthia, okay, over at the Bigs Prep. If you guys haven't visited her channel, you have to. She's the most loving person. She reminds me of the type of person that when you met them or meet them, that you would instantly be connected with. You would instantly feel a warmth. I feel like I could meet her and give her a big hug. I just love her. The way we actually got together, or cross paths, I guess you will, is she watched one of my videos on depression grocery list, right? And she did a VR. She did a response to that video and did her own. And I remember watching it and feeling so inspired, okay, because here I had done my video. I had done, hey, here's the things in my pantry, and she had actually gone in showing people her pantry. She actually has gluten-free stuff. So if you are somebody who needs to have gluten-free stuff, you've got to visit her channel, because she preps, and she preps for gluten-free, and everything in her pantry is thought about in that process of being healthy and gluten-free and all this stuff, okay? And so she's got a beautiful garden, beautiful pantry. She's just a sweet, sweet, sweet mama bear, okay? So please give her some love, show her some love. But this video is a VR, or video response to what she was talking about. So she did a video, now it's been 2 or 3 days, and it was basically called, Great Depression Incoming, and how overall the video was about how people are not ready. And she started with a rant, which I love rants. First of all, I love when people get on and just let them chew stuff out and just really rant. And sometimes that can be ugly, right? Or perceived ugly, like, oh, they're complaining. It was great though. Okay. It was a great rant. It was a valid rant about how things will happen and how people really have to get their heads out of their butts and really think about this, because it's about to get hard. And there's some people out there that their thought process is not quite on board with getting ready for what's about to happen, right? She was on a Facebook forum. Somebody was asking for help. This mom who budgets and only has a certain amount of money. But this mom also was buying all this pre-made food and saying like her family only eats this certain stuff, pre-made food, like what to do. And the forum exploded and gave her all these ideas. And she literally shut them all down. Like, nope, I can't do that. Oh, I tried that. Right? And basically, long story short, it was about French toast sticks and how her kids will only eat those, and what is she and Cynthia was having a whole rant about, like, it's about to be hard. Like, these babies gonna eat whatever they can eat. Like, people are gonna have to get past the norm and things that you are used to getting and being able to eat and being able to get all this pre-made stuff. You're not going to be able to get this stuff. Like, what do you do when that's all you've been eating? And now you have to change it up. There's only real food available. Maybe rationing is happening, but guess what? It's being rationed, you guys. Not pre-made stuff. It's going to be food, real vegetables, fruits, maybe meats. We don't know, right? Bread, things like that. It's not going to be, hey, come get your frozen, dinner. Okay. Your kids that only eat chicken nuggets. Now, listen, I am not making fun of nobody, okay? My kids are no different than anybody else. They love their chicken nuggets. They love their pre-made. You go to my freezers right now, we have a huge section of the freezers that is pre-made stuff. Pizzas, burritos, you name it. Just fast, easy stuff, right? We have that. I'm a normal person, so I am definitely not sitting up here talking about, you better. No, but there's things that you need to start thinking about and learning if you do not know how to do, and planning what's the plan when you don't have that stuff. So I just put together 6 areas of thought on that video, on the pretense, or on the thought process of folks who are living a certain lifestyle, doing certain things, and how we got to start conditioning ourselves to be ready for the changes that are coming. And she made two things that stood out to me. She made two comments, okay? I actually wrote them down, you guys. At one point in the video, she says, changes have to be made. 100%. Even from somebody who prepares and knows how to do some things right, doesn't maybe eat out all the time, maybe doesn't eat all pre-made stuff. Changes are going to have to be made, okay? Regardless. And even if you're somebody who preps, we have to prepare. I'm going to give you an example. We drink soda. We drink soda from time to time. We have it in our alcoholic beverages, right? And we have it, right? We have it, we drink it, we get it, right? But it's not an item that it's an item we love, but it's not an item that I prep. You'll never see me with more than 4 or 5 cases of soda in my house. And that's only because I'll get it on sale. When typically if I do buy it, we're not buying it here and there. We'll buy it when it's like 4 for 11, 4 for 10, right? There's a sale on the cases. And so then I'll have that much in my home, okay? And then we'll dwindle that down, and then I'll hit another sale and I'll get another 4, okay? But it's not an item that I prep long term, right? You're never going to see that in the preps long term. Like, I've got Pepsi long term. No, I don't have Pepsi long term. We're not prepping soda because to me, it's something that, one, it's a pleasure, it's an extra, and I can't make it last, right? I can't grow Pepsi, you guys. And so to me, it's not a long survival item. So therefore, we don't prep it, okay? Once it's gone, it's gone. And so we already know in our house, we know for a fact that when stuff goes left and there's nothing on the shelves or whatever, first of all, there's going to be all types of stuff you can't get your hands on, let alone trying to get Pepsi. You might be trying to get bread and can't get it, right? But those pleasures like that, those fast, quickie things that we're used to being able to get, we know in this household that stuff will stop and we'll be okay. We actually wean ourselves off that stuff all the time. Like, there's times where, although we love Pepsi, we drink Pepsi, but there's times where we'll go months without any, okay? So I know that we'll be okay weaning ourselves off of it, getting off of it, and not be going through fits when we can't get that, okay? So change will have to happen. There will be things that you cannot get anymore that you're used to getting that you just won't, okay? Another thing she said, and this is huge for me because I have kids and I do think that we're living in a society where our children are a little bit weaker and a little bit not trained up in the ways of the olden days, right? They're not trained up in the ways of, being financially sound as far as, knowing what to do with money. We don't teach them enough about preservation and preparedness and survival and those things as a whole. We're not very good at teaching our children. Our children are very good at video gaming, TikToking. And again, I'm not placing no judgment, okay? Because my own kids love that stuff, okay? Love it, all right? So ain't nobody going over here talking about you can't do this. They're doing all the stuff that I'm saying, but there has to be a balance with our children. And so she said this comment where she said, little spoiled bellies, right? She's talking about little spoiled bellies. These children, our children, who we are allowing to run the show, say what they will eat. I won't eat that. I will eat this. I only eat chicken nuggets. I only eat macaroni and cheese, whatever the food is. And moms know what I'm talking about, right? We have to put a stop to that, okay? Because change is going to happen and we're doing a disservice to our children when something stops and they're so not ready for the change, right? Their little spoiled bellies are not accustomed to what do you mean we're going to eat some meat and some potatoes and some vegetables, right? Because you've let them get used to that, okay? And get accustomed to getting their way and only eating certain foods, okay? And so we've got to get past that, okay? So my thoughts on a couple things are ready to eat freezer stuff, right? I just mentioned, we have that, but what's the game plan, right? There has to be more substance in your preps. You've got to have real food in your preps. You have to have real food on your shelves, right? Is there ready to eat canned items? Yes, okay? So, honestly, you could have a cupboard full of canned canned food, that's not necessarily what I call real food, right? It's more of a processed type food, right? However, there needs to be a balance. Start now by getting that stuff, implementing that stuff, and getting your kids used to other stuff like real food. If you have a child who will only eat, like my kid, my 12-year-old, he's no different from any other kid, right? If he could eat frozen pizzas and, hot dogs and, just crap like that all day, he would if you let him, right? But we force him. You've got to eat dinner. Well, I don't eat this. I don't eat salmon. Boy, you've ate salmon so many times in your life. Like, knock it off. Like, stop talking about all the time. Like, all of a sudden you're some kind of diva that don't eat salmon, right? So you got to keep conditioning. No, you're gonna eat these potatoes and this vegetable, right? Making them eat stuff. Okay, yeah. Okay, cool. Everybody's kind of fending for themselves. You want to fend and have chicken nuggets? Cool. But what's your vegetable? What's your fruit, right? What's your carb? What's the other stuff that you're eating with that chicken nuggets? Okay. You've got to get past that freezer stuff, and hopefully you're prepping and stacking stuff that's more than ready to eat stuff. I shouldn't say ready to eat, because ready to eat is a good thing to prep for, grid down. But I'm talking more of like prepackaged, frozen type meals. Okay. You've got to get more in your home than that. Okay. Next thing, or next thought I have is cooking. We need to teach ourselves to cook. There's a lot of people, millions of people are not going to make it. And I guess these thought processes that I'm thinking about are kind of why. That first one was all the people that just eat frozen food, right? They get that ready to eat stuff and their whole house is just filled with like stuff that you can microwave, stuff that you can throw in the air fryer. Maybe you throw it in the oven, whatever, but it's quick stuff. It's ready to eat, quick frozen foods. Okay. Next thing is the cooking, right? There's a lot of people that don't know how to cook, right? And it's more than like, oh, I just don't know how to cook or whatever. Maybe they know how to cook, but they don't want to, right? They want to continue to eat out and go to fast food restaurants and have these quickie things, and they don't want to take the time that it takes to think out the meal, cook the meal, get the ingredients, and it's just too much, right? But the problem is some of those people know how to cook a little bit, but because they don't cook all the time, it's going to be still hard for them to adjust to all of a sudden you're full on cooking, right? You go from, oh, I knew how to cook a little bit, but now I'm eating all this fast food stuff. And then now it's time and you're not eating now unless you're like cooking real food. That's going to be a problem. Millions of people are going to have an issue because they don't know how to cook. Okay. The other thing is like the food orders, right? The people who like to order food through Uber and you get your food delivered to your house, or you order from a restaurant and comes to the house, or you order from a restaurant and you go to a restaurant and eat, right? All the people that depend on the industry for food ordering, okay? Fast food, all this stuff, right? Again, if you are concentrating on that, and again, I'm not placing any judgment. We eat out all the time, you guys. We're not sitting over here like, we don't do any of this stuff. We do this stuff. This is why I can speak to it too much. You have to be ready for change though. Okay. You have to be ready for the day that you can't go get that food. I know how to cook. I cook a lot in my house. Right. And so there's a balance is what I'm saying. So that when a certain area gets shut off, it's not going to be the end of the world, right? If we can't go to a restaurant anymore, it's not the end of the world, right? Yeah, that's a pleasure we can't do anymore, but it's not the end of the world where we lose it or we literally starve because we don't know how to cook in this house. We don't have food stacked up, water, whatever, and we're not ready. And then now we starve because we've been so dependent on these other areas, okay? The next thing I have is stacking. What did I put? Oh, stacking is non-existent. Don't grocery shop. I don't even know what this note means, you guys. This is the thought process. Stacking is non-existent. Oh, I think I'm talking about millions of people are not going to be ready because there's people that not only are they not cooking and things like that, but they're not stockpiling at all, right? I'm not even talking about preparedness stockpiling. I'm talking about they don't keep food in their homes at all, whether it's because maybe it's a CEO, some kind of person has a job, working 2 or 3 jobs, they're never home. They don't have a lot of emphasis put on keeping food in the home because they're not in their home a lot, right? So a lot of people don't keep a lot of food in their home because they're not home, right? They're working so much, they come home and they get something quick to eat and then they go to sleep, right? And a lot of people are in that cycle of work, 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 come home, grab something real quick, go to sleep, do it again, and just repeat, 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 right? And so therefore those folks are like, well, I'm not home enough to even cook. Why would I stack food in my shelves when I'm not there? Why would I have food in my fridge and my freezer when I'm not there and I'm not going to cook it, right? And so whether that's because of money too, like they're like, I don't have the money and I'm not going to be there to eat it anyway, so I'm not going to do that. So you have a lot of people that are not going to make it because they simply do not have food in their house. Okay. You're going to have people who have kind of prepared and maybe keep food, and maybe just eventually in 2 weeks, whenever that food that they've kept runs out, then they run into problems. But you're going to have folks that run into problems right away because it's non-existent. They do not keep stuff in their house. They don't keep food, period, in their house. Okay. Next thing I have is food, water, meds, making excuses, a lot of people, again, millions are not going to make it because they simply think that this is not important. It's not going to get as bad as people think. It's not needed. I can go right now and get meds. I can go and get food. I can get water. I'm fine, right? And it's just like the lady who was arguing and didn't want, was like, I can't get help. I can only have this $300 budget, and my kids have to have, basically the 2 points the lady was making in the forum was that her kids only eat these certain type of frozen French toast sticks, and her husband drinks this soda that he must have. And the problem with that is that people don't put enough emphasis on food, water, meds, and the importance of preparedness. Okay, that aspect of that. And they're just like, well, what am I going to do? And people tell them what to do. And they're like, but I don't want to do that. And so there's going to be a lot of that. Like, well, I don't want to give that up. I don't want to do that. But yet you still are saying you want to prepare, and you're asking a group, you're asking a forum for help, but then you don't like anything they're saying. So you're not really ready for change. You're not really trying to make it work when people are telling you long term that's not going to work. Okay, long term you're going to have to come up with something different, right? And let me tell you, when you pass away, when you starve to death, and those babies who are only eating frozen, French toast sticks, they're going to end up with another family who's going to feed them something else. And those children are going to eat it, right? They show up at my house, they're going to eat what I give them, right? They're going to be happy. I'm going to give you one more story. Children will do what you tell them to do. But if you are forceful enough, and I guess I shouldn't use the word forceful, that seems kind of like aggressive. But if you are sound in your discipline, okay, and the way that you go about teaching children, they will listen, and they will change, and they will adapt. Children are resilient. When my one son, Kai, he was probably 4 or 5 years old, right? And I was taking him to daycare, and he did not like scrambled eggs. Just one day, at whatever age, I was making some eggs. He didn't want scrambled eggs. I did it a few times. He didn't care for them. No big deal. I didn't take it as some shocker, like, you will eat these eggs. I just kept it pushing, like, okay, he doesn't really care for scrambled eggs. No big deal. There's a ton of other things that we can eat, right? Goes to daycare. One day I pick him up, and my daycare lady's telling me, what he ate throughout the day. And she's like, yeah, I made some homemade soup for lunch. And breakfast, he had some scrambled eggs, da da da. And I was like, what? He had some scrambled eggs? And she was like, yeah, he eats scrambled eggs almost every day. And I was like, what? So come to find out that the next time we were at home or whatever, the next weekend or whatever it is, I made some scrambled eggs, and this kid was eating them up. Now, at first I was hurt, like, dang, was it my cooking? Like, he didn't like, but no, it's because in that moment, he tried them, he didn't like them, and I just let him go with that. I just was like, okay, whatever. And then come to find out, he loved eggs. He loves eggs, loves scrambled eggs. And so children are going to do what you press upon them. Will it be difficult at first? Yes, absolutely, right? Getting a child who's been eating chicken nuggets every day, and then all of a sudden you putting real food in front of them. Yes. Is there going to be some some battling back and forth, absolutely. Okay. But that's your job as a mom bear, to get past that, to move on, right? So the making of excuses has to stop, because we've got to adopt this sense of it, things are going to change and we have to be ready for it. Change has to happen. So like I used the example with the soda with us, with Pepsi, right? Your chips, your crackers, your all this stuff that's like pre-made. Can you prep that stuff? Absolutely. Can you prep and vac seal jars of M&Ms and crackers and cookies and have your stuff, right? Have your sweets, have your thing? Absolutely. And please do. Please make sure that you're prepping that stuff and stockpiling that stuff. But what I'm saying is, long term, you're going to get to the point where that stuff's gone and you can't get it. And unless it's something that you can make yourself, like you can make cookies, homemade cookies, right? You can make some of this stuff. You can make different chips, right? There's stuff you can make, okay? But you're going to have to get to a point of thought where, what do you do when this is gone? Do I have the things to be able to make some of these things from scratch, some of these goodies from scratch, right? I'm hooked on, let's say you're hooked on some other kind of soda, right? And you're like, what am I going to do? Maybe you're stacking 100 cases of soda. I don't know, right? And I'm not going to tell you what to not stack. If you drink soda and you know, like, I have to have my soda, and you have 100 cases stacked, whew, okay, that's a lot of space. I can't do it, okay? Just know that changes are going to have to be made. And right now is where we plan that forward. We plan now, what are those changes? What are some of the things we're not going to be able to get? I bet you Cynthia, because she's gluten-free, has thought through, how does she continue to eat when she's used to getting some products gluten-free? How does she continue to do that? What products and real food products does she need in her pantry to be able to cook and to be able to do stuff still gluten-free? She's been gluten-free forever, right? So she knows how to do that. But that's what I'm talking about. Change overall. And millions of people during this Great Depression that we are going to hit, you guys, are going to perish because they simply cannot do the change. They simply cannot go from this to this, or they simply don't have the food and they simply starve, or they simply mentally cannot handle it and take their lives because they cannot handle the fact that they can't either provide for food. They don't know, a mother that doesn't know how to cook. Maybe a mother works 3 jobs and she puts food on the table every single night, but it's fast food or it's ready to eat stuff. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? But she hasn't planned. And then later something happens. Her children don't have food. She can't provide. The food is gone. She doesn't know how to cook. And the mental game takes over. Okay. And so you're going to see very bad stuff happening to families because they're not prepared. That, we're ranting about this poor lady. And I say poor lady because if she doesn't get that thought process going, she's going to be one of these victims that I'm talking about, right? She's not going to be ready. She's not going to be able to mentally do the change. She couldn't even go through the conversation with her asking for help and her receiving tons of help. And she wasn't getting it. She wasn't receiving the help. She wasn't open to the help. Okay. And what's crazy is she opened the dialogue for some discussion and for some help, and was not receptive to it at all because it was too much for her, right? She wanted an answer that still included, hey, you'll be fine with your $300 budget and you'll be able to forever get the soda and forever get these, French toast sticks, and you'll be fine with the inflation that's happening right now. You'll be able to keep affording all that stuff. And that's just simply not it. With inflation, there's change happening now. There's families making change now. There's families cutting out whole types of meat that they used to eat maybe before and they don't get anymore. Or whole families of certain foods that they got or certain items that they got before, they're not going to get them anymore. Okay. Some change might happen with people that eat fast food stuff and they're like, man, I can't afford that no more. That is way too much for a hamburger and fries. It's just too much. And then they'll start slowly adapting to, okay, we've got to start doing something else, getting more food, whatever the case may be. Okay. So I absolutely loved that video that she did. I wanted to do this VR response to it. She was ranting and I was just thinking like, you are better than me, because I probably would have went a little bit harder in the paint once I saw this person not being receptive to the help that they had requested. And I know that it's hard sometimes on the comments and people asking stuff. I get comments all the time of people being a little bit more curt, a little bit more rude, a little bit more like, you didn't give us enough information. And at the end of the day, the thing I have to say is, you're your own person, right? You're your own person. I don't live with you. We don't go together, right? You are your own person, and you have to take control of your own destiny, right? You have to take God's hand and say, let's do this, and take control of your own destiny. It don't have nothing to do with Mama Bear Prepping and the fact that I didn't give you something you need. Now, by all means, you can ask me. You think I missed something and you want to ask me a question and ask for help. Absolutely. But don't try to come on here talking about, well, you're not really being helpful. You didn't really do anything, right? You've got to take control of your own stuff, okay? Listen to people, get advisement. But at the end of the day, if that lady doesn't get her own stuff together, she's asking questions and stuff, she's going to figure it out, you guys. But she's going to figure it out the hard way, okay? She's going to figure it out when she hasn't weaned her babies onto some other foods, and they're screaming and crying for this certain type of food, and when you had the time to kind of wean them off and get them on some other stuff, and not only that, save the money, okay, that you're spending on this, she's gonna find out the hard way when maybe they don't have other food, or this hits and there's nothing else in their house, and then once that's gone, it's gone. And then maybe they get some charity, maybe they get some food, but she doesn't know what to do with it. She's like, my kids aren't gonna eat this, my husband's not gonna drink this or eat this, and she's stuck. And then from there, who knows where it goes, okay? So I would love to hear in the comments below your guys' thoughts on this. If you haven't seen her video, please go over to her channel. Give her a like, give her a thumbs up, get the notification. She does great videos, you guys. If you like my videos, I think you'll like her videos. Beautiful person. Make sure you subscribe to her, okay? The Biggs Prep is the name of her channel. Her name is Cynthia, okay? Great people. Her husband also goes on the channel sometimes with her. Just great people, okay? So show them some love, and I won't see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow's Sunday. We got tons of projects here that we're doing at the house. I am going to, I said I was going to do my other video yesterday from my other channel. Obviously, I didn't do that video either yesterday since we were offline, but I'm going to start videoing that one right now. So I'll see you over there as well. All right, you guys, have a blessed weekend. Bye.